Alright, so I'm going to take a look at this hive. This was created, I think, 2 weeks ago. And this is hive number 14, I think it is. Yeah, 14. So one of the things that I'm pretty worried about is robbing. There's a dearth now. There's no nectar really. Aside from some bee balm, I did see some bee balm blooming, but bee balm isn't really something that is in great quantities in this area. So I'm kind of thinking that there's a dearth. There's definitely a lot of robbing attempts going on. I did try some entrance reduction on here to reduce the robbing potential, so we'll see if that did anything. Looks like the frame spacing on these frames is kind of off, so boy, they built out the frames a little too much. I'm going to take a look in here and see how these guys are progressing. They're a little edgy and I don't have my veil on, so I'll have to be careful. So there's a lot of capped brood on this one. I do see some eggs in there, so the queen is still viable. At least she was up to 3 days ago. It's always something you want to take a look at when you're inspecting a hive, is whether or not the queen is in there. But it looks like this one is a full frame of capped brood. I'm going to set this aside for a minute. I don't see the queen on this one. The bees look like they're pretty well packed in. It's pretty early in the morning, so most of the foragers are still going to be in the hive. You can just kind of tell they're a lot more alert when you have older bees in there, kind of ready to go on the attack. But with such a small colony, I'm usually not too concerned about it. There's a lot of younger brood in here. Looks like some of the capped brood has been hatching out on this frame. And there's a lot of eggs here. Eggs, pollen on this side. So on that side there's young larvae. On this side there's eggs. Oh, there's the queen. She's up in this corner, right there. Just wanted to kind of make a quick assessment to see if I should add additional space. I think the number of bees I'm seeing looks like I can add additional space. Some of the capped brood is hatched out. You see that one's another frame of capped brood. So a lot of this capped brood that I gave them originally probably hasn't hatched out yet. Looks like this is just a frame of honey. This is a frame of foundation. They haven't started working on it yet. Stick this one in the middle here. Oh, there's a hive beetle. There we go. These hive beetles like hiding on the periphery of the hives where the bees aren't really populating it too densely. So I think I'll go get a Swiffer sheet to put in here, as well as add additional super on these guys. I'm going to add an additional super. I have 2 drawn frames. These are kind of in bad condition. They have some mold on them and some wax moth damage. I did freeze these to kill the wax moths. I want to make sure I killed them all before I give this to them. There's wax moth pupa in there. I just want to make sure I cut them before I give this to the bees. I don't want the wax moths taking over this hive. So what I'll do is I just take the hive tool, I stick it down in there and I just cut them. There's a few of them. I just cut them off. And the bees will have to clean up this comb, but there's quite a bit of drawn comb on here that will save them a lot of work. They'll clean this up real nice, and it should be looking as good as new in a week or so. So I have 2 of those, and then I'm going to put in 2 undrawn foundation, or 3 undrawn foundation frames. I'm using black foundation on these. It's going to be easier to see the eggs, so I'm going to use these for brood. When they draw out the wax on these, the back ends of the cells are going to be black, and that's where the eggs are going to be laid. And when the queen lays eggs in there, it's going to be a lot easier to see that versus on yellow colored foundation. The yellow colored foundation is a lot lighter and the eggs don't stick out as well. So I'm going to add this space on here. These guys have quite a bit of room to expand. They only had 4 frames that were filled with bees, and with bees and larvae and honey. They still have 1 undrawn one in the bottom. So with this, they'll have 6 undrawn ones. It's expanding their space quite a bit. I think they're going to reach capacity on their space before I get to take a look at these guys again. Got to make sure I space these frames out evenly. The way these nuke boxes are, they're too wide, and it's not respecting the bee space, so then they build out the cells and start adding burr comb between the frames, which I don't like. So I have to make sure I evenly space these frames to reduce that burr comb as much as possible.